It is a Tuesday evening in late October. You wipe the kitchen counter clear for the third time today. Two backpacks, a jacket, and four coffee mugs are already back on it before the cloth is even folded. Someone walks past the basket you bought for exactly this and sets a phone charger down beside it instead. You have done this same wipe down more times than you could count this year, and you are the only one keeping score. You are not the messy one. You are the only maintenance system this house has. Every organizing video pictures four people sharing one job. Most houses run on one person doing four jobs alone every single day. The label, the bin, the folded drawer, every system you have tried collapses the moment it depends on somebody else remembering it exists. And somewhere in your house tonight, there is a system exactly like that, quietly failing again. 11 rules here, in order, and not one of them asks another person in your house to change. Not one requires a conversation, a chore chart, or an apology. And the reason nobody built these for one person is simple. Every organizing video, every printable chart quietly assumes a household that agrees to try. That sells labels. It does not sell relief to the one person actually doing the work. Not a conspiracy, just an industry that photographs better, with four people smiling around a bin. My name is Akira Suzuki. My grandmother ran a Ryokan outside Kyoto for 40 years, where staff changed every season and guests never learned a single house rule, so nothing there could ever depend on someone remembering it. 11 down to 1. Number 4 is the fold every video in this niche swears by, and it collapses in under 9 days the moment somebody else touches that drawer. Number 3 takes 30 seconds, and it is the only rule on this list you are not allowed to explain to anyone else, or it stops working. And number 1 is not a rule at all. It is 3 feet of floor that ends an argument before it starts. None of these are new. They are simply built for one. Before we count down, subscribe. We build systems for the one person actually doing the work every single week. Here is what you were told. Sit everyone down. Make a chore chart. Talk about fairness until everyone agrees. That advice is not wrong. I will give it that much. A real conversation about an unequal house is worth having. If the imbalance runs deep, it may be the only thing that needs to happen first. But watch what happens next. You had that conversation in March. For 2 weeks, everyone carried their own mug to the sink. By April, the counter looked the same as always. Same pile, same person clearing it. Ask yourself why. A conversation changes what somebody intends to do. It does not change where an object lands when nobody is thinking about it at all. Nobody thinks about it most of the time. The mug does not go where the chart says it should go. It goes wherever is easiest in that exact second, and the chart is never in that second with it. That is the tell. If the system only worked while everyone was still paying attention to the system was never the fix. The attention was. My grandmother never once held a meeting about where a slipper went. She built the shelf so there was nowhere else for the slipper to go. Her staff did not remember the rule. They never had to learn it. That is the entire difference between a rule and a shape. Here is what is actually happening. A room does not stay clean because everyone decided to help. It stays clean because putting something away is easier than leaving it out. That is the entire mechanism. Nothing more mystical than that. Every object in your house is already taking the path of least effort. Right now, tonight, that path leads to your counter, your chair, your floor. Not because anyone is careless, it is genuinely the easiest place to stop. So here is the only real question. Can you make putting it away the easier direction without needing anyone to agree to anything first? Hold on to this. Clean needs everyone's cooperation, but order only needs the room's geometry. Every rule from here is that one sentence built into a different room. We start with the drawer you already tried to fix. Number 11, replace the labeled drawer at every drop point with an open-topped basket. You bought dividers. You labeled them neatly. Within a month, it is one pile again. A labeled drawer asks for 3. Decisions, open it, sort it, close it. An open basket asks for one. Drop it in. Someone who will not sort will still drop because dropping takes no decision at all. The mistake is picking a basket too small for a full week's mess. Size it for the mess, not the shelf. Number 10. Put one shallow tray beside the couch for remotes, chargers, and mail. Nothing else allowed in it. Right now, those three things live on the cushion, the arm, and the floor. Three different spots because none has one fixed place close enough to reach without standing up. A tray inside arm's reach of where a thing is used gets used every time by anyone. Reaching 6 inches costs less than standing up. One tray, under $8. The mistake is letting it become a catch-all for anything at all. Once it holds everything, it organizes nothing. Number 9. Pick one chair and let it be the landing spot for coats and bags that would otherwise land everywhere. A coat dropped on its way through a room does not vanish. It lands on the nearest flat surface, a different one every day because none was ever assigned. Give it one assigned surface instead, and the coat lands in the same place every time. Never a surprise. Never spread across 4 rooms at once. One chair. Never sat on again. The mistake is choosing a chair guests see. Put it somewhere it costs you nothing to lose. Number 8. Replace any open shelf near a door with hooks. One hook, one item, nothing stacked. A shelf has no limit. You can always fit one more thing on it, so it always fills. Once full, it is a pile like every other flat surface in the house. A hook has a hard limit built in. It holds one bag, one coat, one leash. When the hook is full, the next bag has nowhere to go. That single moment of friction is what stops the pile before it starts. The mistake is buying a coat rack instead. A rack is a shelf standing up. It still has no limit. Let me stop the list. 4 rules in, and everyone has done the same thing. Not one asked a person to remember anything. Every one of them changed the distance between an object and the place it belongs. That is the pattern. A rule that depends on memory is no rule. It is a request. Number 7. Put a small bin within arm's reach of every seat where mail, packaging, and receipts actually get opened. Junk mail piles up for one plain reason. It becomes clutter because the nearest trash can is 2 rooms away. Carrying one envelope that far every single day is a decision nobody makes consistently, including you. A $4 bin beside the couch, the desk, and the door removes that decision completely. The mistake is using one large bin for the whole house instead. Distance is the entire mechanism. One bin far away does nothing that 3 close ones do instantly. Number 6. Nothing lives on the floor of a shared room ever. Not a bag, not a stack of mail, not a single shoe. The floor is the largest surface in the room. It is the easiest place to drop something. It is also the hardest place to notice piling up, because you stop truly seeing your own floor within about 3 days. Anything found on the floor at reset goes straight into the basket from Rule 11, no exceptions, including things that are not yours. The mistake is making an exception for shoes by the door. That is how every other exception gets born. Number 5, keep one basket in one fixed spot for anything that belongs to someone else and turned up out of place. Empty it into their room without a word, once a week. This is the rule that ends the resentment. It removes the part that costs you the most, the moment of deciding whether to say something. You are not confronting anyone. You are simply moving an object from the floor to a basket, and once a week, from the basket to its owner's room. The mistake is emptying it too soon. Emptying on a schedule, not on a mood, is what keeps this from becoming nagging with extra steps. Let me tell you how I learned this the hard way myself. At the Ryokan, I once tried to hold a staff meeting about the shoe rack. Everyone nodded. Within a week, the rack was exactly as crowded as before. My grandmother did not call a second meeting. She widened the gaps between the slats so only one pair of shoes could physically fit in each one. Nobody remembered the meeting a month later. Nobody needed to. The rack itself would not allow the habit. I was 20, and I had tried to fix a person. She had fixed a rack. Only one of us actually solved anything. Now the one I promised you. Number 4. Stop folding shirts flat in a shared drawer and give each one its own open vertical slot instead. The stand-it-up fold works beautifully for exactly one person, folding for themselves every single time. The moment a second person puts laundry away, that method has a single point of failure. One shirt gets tossed back in flat on top of the others. The whole drawer collapses into a pile within days because a flat shirt crushes every standing one beneath it. An open divider with individual slots does not have that failure point. A shirt shoved in wrong is instantly visible and instantly correctable by anyone without needing to understand the system first. The mistake is assuming the fold failed because someone did it badly. It failed because it was never built for two people to begin with. Stop the list again. 7 rules in, and notice something else. Not one of them cost more than a few dollars, and not one of them asked anybody to become a different kind of person. That is worth sitting with. The industry that sells you a family meeting has never once sold you a hook. Here is the one you are not allowed to explain to anyone. Number 3, every night at the same fixed time, walk one loop through the rooms you own and reset only what is yours. 30 seconds, alone. This is not the family tidy-up you have tried and abandoned a dozen times. It is smaller. That is the entire point. A 30-second loop does not require anyone else to be home, willing, or even awake. Say it out loud once, and it becomes a chore you assigned yourself in front of witnesses. That becomes a request they can quietly refuse. Do it silently, and it is simply a habit nobody else has any say in. The mistake is doing it only on the nights you feel like it. The 30 seconds only works because it never asks for motivation. Number 2, draw a visible line around what is yours, the kitchen counter, the entry tray, and leave everything past that line exactly as they left it. Right now, you are maintaining the entire house. Every surface silently became your job the moment you were the only one who ever touched it. A visible boundary, a runner on the counter, a tray at the edge, marks where your maintenance stops. Past it, their mess simply exists. This is the rule that ends the resentment loop because you stop doing labor nobody assigned you and stop feeling responsible for a room you never agreed to own. The mistake is policing the line afterward. The whole point is that you stop looking past it at all. And number 1 is not a rule. It is the zone I promised you. Number 1, build a choke point within 3 feet of your front door, one hook, one tray, one basket that catches everything before it enters the house at all. In a Japanese home, this is the genkan, the step just inside the entrance. Shoes come off there. Everything carried in gets set down before the house proper begins. It works whether the person walking through the door read this list or not. It is simply the first surface they meet. An object always stops at the first flat surface every time. Your front door, most likely, opens straight onto the rest of the house. So everything that enters keeps walking until it meets your counter, your table, your chair, one hook, one tray, one basket, 3 feet from the door. Nobody has to agree to use it. It is simply the easiest place to stop. Now the part that decides whether any of this survives past January. You need one habit, and it is smaller than you think. The 30-second loop every night forever. Not the whole house, only your zones. Here is why this works, when the harder version never did. You are not cleaning up after anyone. You are running the one system that was always only ever yours to run. It takes less time than reading this sentence out loud twice. Once a month, walk through the choke point at the door and the amnesty basket together. Both should be nearly empty most days. If either one is consistently full, that specific spot needs a bigger container, not a longer conversation. Set a timer if it helps. When it stops, you stop, finished or not. 3 boundaries, and I will name them plainly. None of this fixes an unequal household alone. If the imbalance here is causing real ongoing distress, that is worth an honest conversation and possibly a counselor. This list only removes the daily labor, not the underlying fairness question, and it was never built to. If letting go of things feels impossible rather than just inconvenient, that is a recognized condition, not a discipline problem. It is worth a real professional, not a video like this one. Every hook here goes into a wall. Use the anchor rated for your wall type, not a nail from the kitchen drawer. I cannot give you a weight limit from here. The packet on the anchor can. Tonight, do the one that costs nothing. One hook, one tray, one basket, 3 feet from your door, or set a 30-second timer and walk your zones once alone tonight. I rebuilt my own Genkan 4 years ago in a rented flat with a landlord who would not let me drill a single hole, a shoe bench, and a bowl. My counter has stayed clear ever since, with or without anyone else's help. Tell me down below which zone in your house has been entirely yours for the longest, the kitchen, the entry, or somewhere nobody else even knows exists. I read everyone, and whichever zone shows up the most is the one I take apart next. Somebody in your house may never help with any of this. That was never the plan. The plan was a house that does not need them. Clean needs everyone's cooperation, but order only needs the room's geometry.